Hi guys, Walaman here with your fourth episode of Adaptive, the video show for disabled gamers. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I'm going to call adapting to an adaptive gamer. This is particularly for officers and guild masters, and talking about if someone in your guild comes up to you and says that they're disabled, or if a new member is applying and saying that they're disabled, how to react to that and how to deal with that appropriately, without causing too much drama or without alienating them in any way. Um, I'm going to start with a quick disclaimer. Situations differ. This is all my personal advice. If the person in question is telling you the way that they feel things should go for them, then go by them. They know themselves a lot better than I know them. I'm just speaking in general terms that I've kind of learned over the years. So if they're already a member, this is a really easy discussion. I mean, you can kind of skip the whole getting to know each other process and all of that, and you can kind of jump right into the nitty gritty details of what needs to be done. Because they're obviously already meeting, assuming it's a raiding guild and they're already a raid member, they're already meeting your base levels of performance, and you know that without any adaptions, they're at least doing a lot of things right, if not everything right. And if they're a new member, then it's a little bit more difficult. I would say do tryouts just like any other member. And I think you have to remember not to bring a member for sympathy, but to bring them for who they are. If their performance is something that you really want, great. Or if their performance is lacking a little bit, but you love their personality and you love who they are, then that's someone you should bring. But you shouldn't bring someone to a raid just because you feel bad for them. I think that's something that a lot of people would feel like they're obligated to do, and I think it's important to remember that you're not. If maybe if someone asks for that, then yeah, maybe letting them go on your one run through, and you can help them get in the teeth and something like that. That's a little bit different. But if you're talking about a regular spot in a raid, then I think your members do need to be able to all produce, and I think you don't want other guildies to feel like this one person is dragging you down, and I think that's something really important to look out for. So the first thing to do is worry about the politics on the social side of it. Does the guildie in question want everyone to know? Do they just want you personally to know, or maybe they're okay with telling the officers, or telling the people in their specific role within the raid, so that enough people know so that those who will have to adapt, can do so. And I think that's really important. Is to make sure that the proper adaptations get made within the raid. And that's kind of your next step, is you have to ask them and talk to them and figure out what needs to be done so that they can raid with you guys. It could be that they need nothing. There's some disabled gamers who are very adamant that they don't need help from anyone else, beyond what a normal person would get. And I think that's something that if someone really wants it, then let them have that. Don't go out of your way to make them feel. Because I think if you went out of your way, you would end up making them feel like they're set apart and like they're different. And I think a lot of people don't want that. Um, but it could be something as simple as they just need help setting up add-ons and stuff like that, so that they're functioning properly. Which is in that case is really easy. It's just like dealing with another guildie. You just kind of give them the add-ons that they need, help them download it, walk them through setting up their UI, and then you can kind of from there kind of just go on and move on performance-wise. But there are some people out there who really do need help from a guildie on a more consistent basis. I know there's the popular story out there right now of the blind player who plays by following someone in game, using the actual slash follow command in game to get to his destination within the framework of the game. And I think if it's that kind of adaptation, then see how that can be made, and make sure that everyone involved is aware of how it'll work, and aware of what changes will need to be made so that that can happen. And then finally, I think the important thing, this is kind of tying in to the beginning, is what they need in terms of communication and how they should be treated. Communication. Some people have issues with attention span, issues with memory. They might need extra reminders about the phases of the fights. They might need perhaps they'll learn a fight one week, know it, and then they won't know it as well the next week. So they'll need kind of extra reminders about that. Excuse me. We got in the sake of recording videos with a dry mouth, so I finally decided that I'm going to go ahead and take drink breaks when I need them. Apologies for that. So, the guilty might need, as I was saying, an extra walkthrough, pre-raid, just going through the mechanics again and making sure that they really know them. Or even if it's really necessary, say for a deaf guilty who can't really tune into Ventrilla too easily, you might need extra communication in the form of macros or something like that. And then the other thing is the social aspect of the game is hugely important. Some people don't want to be treated any differently, and they want to feel like they're just as much a part of the raid team as everyone else. And I think that's really important to make sure that you make sure that they're able to feel that. And I know my guild back when I was raiding, we would always joke around whenever someone would die. We'd make fun of them for it, not in a malicious way at all, just in a typical friendship kind of way, the way you joke around with buddies, stuff like that. And if you excluded someone from that, they might feel left out, even though you might be doing it to protect them from feeling like they're being criticized. They might end up actually feeling left out because of that. Um, and some people, especially a lot of people with disabilities, um, and some people, this is even what their problem is to begin with, is a lot of people have performance and social anxiety. They have problems talking, communicating to people very well, and they have issues with worrying too much about their performance within a game. So, if someone is telling you that that's an issue that they deal with, then you might need to work out with them a system that you can, tell them what they need to do and what they need to adjust without, you know, say not calling them out over vent and saying, haha, you stood in the fire, you knew. That might go very badly for someone. That might, trigger a negative internalization of their saying, oh, I'm bad, I can't play this game right, even though they're a great player and they just made a mistake. So I think that's important. The tone that you deal with that is important. You might need to say, hey, Walaman, you're in the fire, move, just very quickly in the moment, or whisper, hey Walaman, you were in the fire that last fight. Just try not to do that next time. Just to the best that you can. Just try not to do that, please. And those kind of things that you have to do. But I think one really important thing to end on is you have to remember that someone being disabled does not entitle them to anything that you wouldn't give them otherwise. I think particularly with loot or something like that, you don't want to give this person tons of loot just because they're disabled. That would be special treatment to a degree that, at least in my mind, is something that I know I would certainly refuse, and I think a lot of other people would do the same. So I think one thing you have to be careful for is making sure that people don't go in with this attitude that their disability entitles them to things. If they're going in with a bad attitude, and if they're being just generally unpleasant to deal with, then you don't want to have them in your guild, and you don't need to keep them in your guild just because they're disabled. Just be very clear with them. Either, hey, sorry, you're just personality-wise, you're not working out here, or if their performance is so bad that you as a raiding guild can't help them adapt to it, then you're going to have to say, hey, we like playing with you, but this just isn't working out. And I think that's something important to remember, is that they're not necessarily entitled to be in your raid group, and that you do need to treat them just like anyone else, and consider getting rid of them if necessary, just like anyone else. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you want to contact me, my preferred method is that you sign up to be a member on our site and send me a private message at Walaman on the site. You can also email me at walaman@theadaptivegamer.com. Um, that's again Walaman at theadaptivegamer.com. And of course, obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out our site, theadaptivegamer.com. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.